Off the ledge. I love this.
I walk us off the ledge every time this year.
Okay, so our metabolism does not slow down after 30, right? So you're saying I have a chance.
So you have a big chance. For the longest of time, I'm gonna be honest, I've written this before because we all thought this. We thought that at the age of 30, your metabolism fell off the cliff. Well, new science says that's not the case.
Just the whole cornucopia of,
Cornucopia?
Hey, boy, I was looking for one to add. I was trying to add one to the situation.
I don't even think the lady who does the chirons can type cornucopia as fast as you just said it just now.
Exciting.
I feel the need.
The need for speed.
And 40 years you're celebrating with your wife.
Yes.
Congratulations. Can you give us a secret to marriage? Is there something you can share with us?
You just say, yeah, honey, whatever you want, sweetheart.
Hi, my name is Cindy Matalucci, and you're watching The Pulse, where we get the 411 on all the latest and greatest things to do in this amazing city, San Diego. From the newest bars and restaurants to the chicest boutiques, to the gyms and the trainers that are getting the people of this city buffed 365 days a year, to the place you want to go to get your spa on. I'm exploring it all for you, and of course, having fun along the way. So come with me while we put our finger on the pulse of San Diego. This episode of The Pulse was brought to you by Windus Fernandez Brinkkord from Trilogy Financial Services. For all your financial needs, Windus and her team have got you covered. On today's episode, we start our show in studio with our family law expert, Christopher Sunnen from Sunnen Law. We're talking about the prenup and postnuptial agreements and everything you need to know. We then talk with Dr. Ian Smith, an American physician, author, and television host. We get the scoop on his newest book, The Metflex Diet. Sunnen Law specializes in complicated family law litigation, divorce, mediation, domestic violence restraining orders, and all other family law matters. What sets them apart is their amazing team and their results-driven client-centered representation. Watch this. Okay, so we're so excited to welcome back to our show today Christopher Sunnen, owner and attorney from Sunnen Law. How are you?
I'm doing great, Cindy. How are you today?
I'm so great. It's Friday.
I love Fridays. Best day of the week, Fridays.
We love Friday, and you're a sponsor on our show. You're a family law specialist. Also, you specialize in complicated family law litigation. I mean, so many different things that you guys do.
There's so much we do, and everything feels complicated right now, Cindy. I'll just be honest. But yes, we take, divorces, paternity cases, restraining orders, everything in between. Even if your case isn't complicated, and I'd love to have a non-complicated case, we'd handle it too.
But you make it simple. You do. You guys, your team really makes things simple. Okay, so we are going to talk about a hot topic today. We're going to talk about the prenup and the postnuptial agreement, right? So I know we had a lot of questions from viewers on this, and I know this is kind of something that people don't know, 100% about. So I was hoping you could explain to the viewers, what is a prenup, and does every couple need one?
Well, from a lawyer's perspective, absolutely. But I know people have different perspectives. So, I mean, what we're fundamentally talking about here, Cindy, is separate property agreements. The law recognizes two of them. Prenup, meaning pre-marriage, you haven't gotten married. Postnup, meaning after marriage, post. So, easy.
And basically, like under California law, if you don't have a prenup agreement, right, all items become community property. Is that right?
More or less. So now we're in the favorite zone of lawyers, the exception zone. So let's just go with some broad black areas of law. You inherit something from rich Uncle Steve, you don't have a prenup, chances are you're gonna be fine, but you probably want a prenup for some other reasons.
Wow. Okay. Good point. So when do you know that you need one? And basically, like, how soon before the wedding do you do this? Is there like a time frame?
Let's go with an obvious point. Don't do it the day of the wedding, because that's gonna be unenforceable, and that's where a lot of people get into trouble. Even today, you know, there's so much great internet tips out there, but I mean, this is something that people are still tripping over. Don't do it the day of the marriage. So the law is fairly clear. You gotta have the final document signed 7 days before the marriage. So anytime before 7 days. The back end of the question, when should you have one? You own a house, you own a business, you own multiple houses, you own multiple businesses. You probably wanna protect what you worked for.
Well, and that was gonna lead me to the next question, because if you own a business, how do you protect that asset, right? Because I know a lot of people that are getting married, you know, later, they've already got their own businesses. So that's gonna help really protect that.
So California is a very liberal state. And so your business, you know, you've got a business here, I've got a business. Your business is always gonna be your separate property. However, there are carve-outs under the law. These are called the Pereira and Van Camp carve-outs, that if you or I work at our business while we're married, still our separate property business, somebody can be entitled to, you know, share of the profits or business appreciation. This is what the Pereira and Van Camp doctrines are talking about. This is why you want a prenup, perhaps, to cut that off, because this kind of appreciation can sometimes be worth more than the business itself.
Wow. Okay. So they need to meet with you and kind of go over all this, because there's a lot of information.
It can get complicated, but it's actually simple. We try to keep it relatively approachable and give everyone real world examples like Rich Uncle Steve.
I love that. Okay, so you know I love my stats, you guys, so I have to read some stats. So among adults 20 and 30, 20 and older, 34% of women and 33% of men who've ever been married have been divorced. Among those ages 55 to 64, that number is about 43% for both sexes. This number drops to 39% among adults 65 to 74 and 24% among those 75 and older, according to the Census Bureau. Supposedly, there's some good news. They're saying that divorce rates have hit a 50-year record low. They're saying that in 2019, divorce rates reached the lowest that we've seen in 50 years. But they're saying this is because younger generations are behind this divorce rate because they are waiting a lot longer to get married and they're being more selective, right? So I was gonna ask you, it seems like because we're waiting longer, the prenup is even more important because there's so much more at stake, right?
I mean, totally. This is kind of an interesting area. We'd like to see some statistics from 2020, right? I mean, it was rough for everyone, but
I think COVID,
yeah. I mean, so yes, people are getting married later, or this is California. A lot of people don't even get married. We've talked about this before. So the prenup is definitely more important because, I mean, the later you get married, you're probably going to have that house or business or both, and, you know, the stash of gold coins, all that stuff. So.
Well, and the last time you were here, we talked about the Marvin actions, right? So this kind of comes into play because, like you said, there's people that aren't even getting married now.
Right.
So that's a problem with community property that people have to look at, right?
Yeah, and we talked about this last time. You know, this is a really complex yet interesting area of law. You don't need a prenup if you're never getting married, right? But You may be writing contracts, right? And these contracts then go into court for the Marvin action. So, I mean, it all kind of meshes together. Definitely, I would say as a practitioner, the younger generations, right or wrong, they're not as interested in tying the knot as, you know, you or I may have been. So it's definitely a generational change.
Very interesting. Okay, so now we're gonna talk postnuptial. This is interesting, right? So this is created after the prenup.
Oh, I
right?
mean, or after you got married. Let's say you don't have a prenup. So
Okay.
if you don't have a prenup, you're probably looking at a postnup, but go on.
Okay, so tell us what a postnup is. What does this set forth for us?
So super exciting, Cindy. You and I get married. We have no prenup. We're crazy kids. And some point along the way, you say, you're looking a little extra bald these days. And I don't know if I want a bald guy. And so we start talking about how we're going to divide everything up when we get divorced. That's basically what a postnup is. Now, there may be other reasons, you know. Some people might have financial difficulties. You might want to separate out your assets. There can be other reasons for that. But the postnup is kind of the same thing, financial division of things in the marriage.
Okay, but it can't be used to determine things like child custody, visitation, or support, right? Is that right?
Generally, no, but this is an interesting area, right? So again, you know, we're in our happy-go-lucky marriage. We're trying to sort things
We're
out.
in the honeymoon phase.
We're in the honeymoon phase. Let's say, you know, you and I get along really well. Let's say we want to always share our kids 50-50, which is what the law is looking at, right? We agree to that. The court is probably not going to find that enforceable in a postnup, but if we got along and we don't need the court, no one's going to say anything about it. So, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So we had a question from a viewer. Can you nullify this?
Nullify our marriage?
Our
It
postnup.
doesn't exist.
Oh, I see.
No, all right. So, can you nullify a postnup or a prenup? The answer is yes. And so, let's just focus on them piece by piece.
Okay.
Prenups. If you do everything the law says, and most people who hire lawyers do, you're probably gonna have a document that's 90% effective. You're feeling pretty good about that document. Postnups, since we're married now, the law looks at things differently, says, maybe Chris is overreaching because he's a lawyer, maybe Cindy's overreaching because she's a famous TV host. The effectiveness rate goes down dramatically. So if you're really looking for asset protection, the good advice is get the prenup, because you're probably be around 90%. Postnup, not nearly as effective.
Interesting. Very complicated stuff. I'm glad you're here to set us straight. But you will draft these at your office, right? So this is something that you guys do probably on a regular basis.
This is something we do on a regular basis. You know, this is a popular item. I know why there's lots of questions. I get lots of questions about this all the time. One of the things you didn't ask me about that I'll throw in, nobody should ever be throwing in any of the weird items in these documents, like how many kids you'll have, who's gonna cook meals. Those are always gonna be enforceable. I'm actually surprised we don't have any questions like that, because these are some of the top questions I get is, can I write in the document that someone will do the laundry or someone will wash the car? No.
So what do you have to keep in the document?
Well, let's just stick to the important things, right? You know, keeping our businesses separate, keeping our home separate, doing financial things, you know, personal things. You can't really contract on those. You're gonna have to work that out as adults, right?
Oh no, how do we do that?
I know, right? It's tough, super tough.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for breaking that down. It makes it so much simpler, but you can do this at your office. And what's the best way for people to reach out to you for a consult? Because you do consults.
Yeah, so anyone who's watching this can get a free consult, friends of the show. We have one of those websites. It's Sunnen Law. There's a hyphen in the middle.com. You can call us. It's 21st century. I know everyone can find us. We're also on social media with you. So yeah.
And they're in Bakersfield. They're fabulous. Their team is amazing. So shout out to their team. And then next time you're on the show, we are going to do another hot topic. We're going to talk about online stalking and monitoring.
or as we call it, the fun topics.
The fun topic. So you guys will be promoting this ahead of time. So if you have questions, we would love to get your questions for Chris ahead of time and get some of those answered for you, because apparently this is something that's huge. And if there is something you would like us to talk about on the show with Chris, let us know. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Awesome being here. Great way to spend Friday.
I feel better already. I'm gonna go get my prenup. Right, Izzy? For more information on Sunnen Law, you can go to sunnen-law.com. Be sure to mention the Pulse for your free consultation. Don't touch that remote, because when we come back, we're in studio with Dr. Ian Smith.
My name is Windus Fernandez Brinkkord with Trilogy Financial Services. I'm the Managing Vice President of Trilogy here in the San Diego region. So what we offer here at Trilogy Financial Services is full-scale, comprehensive financial planning. Anything from helping you take a baby step to starting a retirement plan, or to understanding how to take income from all of your investments. If you're a small business owner and you're trying to understand what it is you need to do or what plan is best for your company, we can help you with that as well. So what a client can expect when they come to see us is us really getting to understand what makes them tick. If I try to tell a client their number one goal is retirement planning when actually their number one goal is to buy a house, we're not going to have a successful relationship. So what a client's going to expect is for us to understand who they are and help them reach their success. So here at Trilogy Financial Services, our goal is to help you wherever you're at in your financial plan. So if it's getting started in your first career, understanding what to save into what bucket, we can do that. We don't believe in having asset minimums. So then our objective is to help you grow and build your wealth. If you've had an inheritance, if you're looking to sell a business, we can help you manage money regardless of the size of that asset. That's why we have a team. A lot of people feel anxiety regarding financial planning. Our objective is to help take the anxiety out of it, because we feel like when we can empower you to understand what your options are and how to get started, that we can help you sleep better at night. At Trilogy, ultimately, we work with clients in 3 channels. Our goal is to help clients. So we have clients who come to us just for asset management, and we can do that without a financial planning fee. Then we have clients who come to us to understand how to get organized. Where is their money going? We try to make sure that we're helping you achieve the financial plan you want, and we have a channel to work with you in whatever capacity is best for you. My goal is to be a resource for you. Please feel free to reach out anytime.
Hey everybody, it's Cindy Matalucci with The Pulse. I'm here with Deirdre Cross, head of games for Funko. How are you?
I'm so good, thank you. Having so much fun.
We're so excited to be here. You put on a great event today. Tell us a little bit about this event.
Well, we're here at the Rooftop Tabletop event for Funko Games, and we are showing off some of our new games that we're launching this summer, 2023.
Can you give us the scoop on a few of those games?
Yes, there are some very cool ones that we're showing. Among them, our new Star Wars Rivals game, which is a 2-player head-to-head battling game. And we also have with us the new edition of Cranium for the 25th anniversary.
What's your inspiration being head of games? Because you said you've been doing this like 16 years. How do you keep getting inspired for this?
Well, we love making games that bring people joy. So we've got games here that are strategy games, kids games, party games, and that's what keeps me doing it, and that's what keeps all of us in this game, is that we just like bringing joy to the tabletop.
We love that. And for this event, people can come in. It's open, right? Starting tonight.
Yeah, so it's there's standing room, sort of standby line outside, and folks are coming in and playing games with us and having a drink and just enjoying this beautiful view here in San Diego.
This view is gorgeous. And can you just tell us about the beer, because it's a custom beer?
Yes, we have a custom beer for Funko Games called Something Wild Klotch, and it is delicious. It's so beautiful, and it's based, of course, on our Something Wild card game.
We love it. Well, we're going to go play some games now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, it's such a pleasure. Bye.
Welcome back to The Pulse. I'm your host, Cindy Matalucci. Dr. Ian K. Smith is a renowned medical expert and the author of numerous best-selling health books. In the MetFlex diet, he offers a one-of-a-kind plan to improve metabolic flexibility through changing the types and quantities of food and beverages consumed, as well as the type of exercise. In just 6 weeks, readers can experience amazing fat-burning results. Check this out. First of all, I love when you're here.
I love being here.
You grace us with your presence when you're in town. So for those of you who don't know about Dr. Smith, I have to read this to you. Author of the #1 New York Times best-selling books, Shred the Revolutionary Diet, Super Shred the Big Results Diet, Blast the Sugar Out, The Clean 20, The Ancient 9, Clean and Lean, Fast Burn, along with how many others?
I don't know, 17. I don't even keep track of the numbers. Numbers don't matter to me.
What number?
Unless they're on the scale.
What number are you on now?
This is 24.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I love this. And you guys, today we're going to talk about the MetFlex diet, which I'm so excited about. As you can see, we've got amazing food and everything here. So what is the MetFlex diet?
So many people will hit me up on Instagram or Facebook and they would say, I'm doing all the right things, I'm exercising, I'm eating right, I can't lose weight. Why is that happening? So I was doing some research and found a term I'd never heard before called metabolic flexibility. And what that basically means, other than it being a mouthful, is that the metabolism needs to be flexible in order for you to lose weight. What does that mean? The body burns two major fuel sources, carbs and fats. But sometimes the body will only burn carbs well and not fats.
Okay.
Or it will burn fats well and not carbs. So your metabolism is stuck. It's not that your metabolism is slow, it's that it's stuck. So this is a 6-week plan to unstick your metabolism so that you can start burning both fats and carbs. Because listen, sometimes you're gonna have pasta, sometimes you may have steak or chicken or seafood. You have to be able to burn both in order to live and to lose weight. And so that's what this program is.
Well, and I thought this was interesting. So I had never heard metabolic flexibility either, but there's 500 metabolic disorders and only 1/8 of adults in the US have optimal metabolic health. So that's kind of concerning.
It's extremely concerning.
Crazy.
Well, it puts you at risk for heart disease, for stroke, for diabetes. And so part of what we're trying to do with this plan is to get people to realize you can still eat regular food. You can still have fun. I don't call foods cheat foods, by the way, because life is too short not to indulge in some good, fun foods. But
I love that.
Yeah, if most of the time you make better decisions, then you will be fine. And so in my Facebook group, people had about 1,000 people I gave the plan early to.
Okay.
And the results were just amazing. I mean, people lost up to 20, 24 pounds in 6 weeks. 8 to 10 inches, and these are regular people.
Okay.
You know, they're not like celebrities from my shows, but these are regular people who have stuff going on in their lives, but they're very successful. They lost a lot of inches, and so I encourage people watching to join us. I'm in the group.
Okay.
I walk you through the plan. I do 2 Zoom sessions a week, free coaching sessions. So yeah, the name of the group is called MetFlex Diet, which is the name of the book.
And we'll have that up too. So like, what's a sign that you have metabolic inflexibility? What would you say a sign is?
If you are really fatigued during periods of not eating.
Okay.
If you have cravings even after you've had something to eat.
Okay.
If you are sluggish after a carbohydrate-rich meal. If you have kind of unexplained feelings of sadness and depression. A lot of these things could be looped into you being metabolically inflexible, which is why we want to reverse course.
Okay, and can you give people a tip to speed this up or help their flexibility?
Sure, so there are 4 things you can do right away. One is to sleep better, and we can't say that enough, by the way.
How do I do that?
Yeah, well, you gotta improve your sleep environment. No electronics 90 minutes before going to sleep, because your brain stays awake. Make sure the temperature is right in the room. Try some lavender, which is very helpful according to a lot of studies. I use lavender. So anyway, sleep is very important. The next thing, by the way, is exercise. I'm not saying you have to belong to a gym and work out 2 hours a day, though I like gyms. But in the book, I actually give people at-home exercises you can do in your basement, in your yard, in your bedroom, but you gotta move 20 to 30 minutes, 4 days a week. And if you want, break it up. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 at night. So exercise helps. Third is something that I just learned about. I'm not a big keto guy, but it's called cyclical keto, which means you cycle in and out of keto.
Oh, wow.
So instead of going for keto for a long period of time, we do carb loading, which is what you see here, a lot of carbs. We do some carb loading, then we do 5 days of keto. Carb loading, 5 days of keto. By going back and forth, you allow your body to see both carbs and fats, and it becomes more efficient at being able to burn them. The fourth thing is intermittent fasting, which is wonderful. We have
That's a big topic.
That's a big topic, but it's very effective. We have 3 different types of IF, we call it, in the book. So we have time-restricted feeding, where you take your whole day, 24 hours, divide it up into an eating window. Everyone knows about this one. You divide up when you're gonna eat, when you're gonna fast.
Right.
But the 2 other really good ones, the 5-2 method, which is 5 days of relatively normal eating, 2 days of low-calorie eating, And then the last one, which is really fun and very effective, is alternate day fast. You know what that is?
No.
No. It's 1 day of normal eating,
Okay.
then 500 calories the next day.
Oh, wow.
Then normal eating, then 500 calories. So you alternate your fast, and it's extremely effective at burning fat.
That's amazing. Okay, so your recipes, we're showing you guys some food now. As you can see, it's real food, which we love. But your recipes are amazing.
Well, I have rules for my recipes. 1, they have to be tasty, very tasty. 2, they cannot be expensive. And 3, they have to be easy to make, because I don't have 2 hours to spend in the kitchen. No offense to people who love to be in the kitchen, but I just don't have that kind of time. And so I make sure I curate my recipes for the average person who's on a budget but still wants good food and wants it to be on the healthier side. Once again, it's not always going to be rabbit food, as you can see here.
Oh, yeah.
But
so
also,
you can actually eat this.
So yeah, you can have eggs and bacon and pancakes, and this is a grilled cheese with ham, but it's not always what you eat, it's when you eat it that matters. And so in the book, I'm going to allow you to eat these foods. I'm going to match it with your fasting and your exercise so that it's effective.
I love that. And there's a creamy, fatty avocado smoothie that is like, I'm dying to make.
It's really good, actually.
So watch me make that. So you also have a companion workbook, right?
Yeah, so there's the workbook. And so people in my Facebook group have always said to me, Dr. Ian, you got to do like a journal. And I just never had time to do it. So this time I created a workbook. So it's a daily workbook. It only takes 7 minutes a day. I say 420 seconds for you. And then you just kind of write down things that give you better insight into what's working, what's not working. It helps you stay focused. And people in the group who actually did the plan early and had the workbook early, they lost 25% more weight because they were more accountable and because they were able to stick to the plan better.
I love books. That's great. Okay, so our metabolism does not slow down after 30, right? So you're saying I have a chance.
So you have a big chance. For the longest time, I'm gonna be honest, I've written this before because we all thought this. We thought that at the age of 30, your metabolism fell off the cliff. Well, new science says that's not the case. Between the ages of 20 and 60, your metabolism is actually relatively stable.
Wow.
After 60, you lose about 0.7% in speed a year. So think about it. A lot of between 20 and 60, it's not the metabolism, but the metabolism is stuck. That's what I'm saying. It's not slow, it's stuck in one gear, and we got to get it out of that one gear so we can switch it up. And this is what seeing carbs and fats will do for you.
I love this. And the book is available now everywhere that you can buy books.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target. You can get the workbook only at Amazon, but the other books everywhere. And of course, on my Instagram, I give away tips and stuff like that. So my Instagram is at Dr. Ian Smith, spell the doctor out, I-A-N Smith.
And join the Facebook group. I love that. That's amazing. We'll have everything up. Okay, so before you go, I hear that your detective novels, the Ash Kane series, including The Unspoken and Wolf Point, have been picked up for a TV series. Is that right?
It's great. Yeah.
Can you tell us anything?
I could say that I know who I want to play it.
That's important.
A beautiful guy named Boris Kojo, but
I saw you guys on Instagram.
Oh, you did? That's right.
I saw that live. Yeah.
Wouldn't Boris be great?
Amazing. Yeah.
I even had to say that. Listen, I was bro crushed. I'm like, dude, you're a handsome dude, man.
He's
you're
so good looking. He's like a German actor. He's like,
right. He's like German American. Anyway, I would like him to be Ash Kane, my main character, but Hollywood, casting directors, I have very little say, even though it's my property, but we'll see what happens. They have another guy in mind, but we'll see.
When do you think that it will happen?
We'll find out in a week and a half when shooting would start.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, congratulations on
Thank
all
you.
your success. We always love having you. Thank you so much for being here today.
I love being with you, know that.
For more information on Dr. Ian Smith, you can go to driansmith.com. For more of these stories, head over to our website, thepulsesd.com, and make sure you're following us on social media at thepulsesd for all the behind-the-scenes fun. That's going to do it for today's episode. We'll see you next time when we put our finger on the pulse of San Diego.